Hello, carnivore hunters. This is Rick. I found this article that I found quite amusing, a little bit funny, and I think it's something carnivores can relate to. My brother and I have not hidden the fact that we've had our cheat days, we've had our cheat weeks, and but you never think about the shoe being on the other foot. Like, do vegans and vegetarians cheat? So let's go through this article together. I think, like I said, I think you're going to find it a little humorous because I sure did. So the title of this is Meat Cheat Meals Among Vegetarians and Vegans More Common Than You Might Think. And then it says many vegetarians or vegans say they've eaten meat in the last 6 months. And so that's what I'm saying. When I think back, I never thought about uh, a vegan or a vegetarian cheating. It just never crossed my mind where, as a carnivore, you you feel guilty when you do cheat, even if it's with a salad, something healthy, right? And so let's dig into this a little bit. I sped through it, so I might miss some other things I might want to highlight with you guys. This is just funny. So this article starts about 1 in 3 vegetarians or vegans admitted to having meat cheat meals, while 1 in 5 vegetarians or vegans admit to craving meat at least once a month, a new survey reveals. So I thought that was pretty interesting. With January's Veganuary, it's a play on January, trend in full swing and the New Year's resolution to try a meat-free diet, the Lynn's Shop, who I've never heard of, took a closer look at how common it is for Americans to stick with a plant-based lifestyle. Colin Zarnecki, researcher with the Lynn's Shop, which conducted the just published survey. The Lynch Shop is a family-owned business that sells premium meats, according to its website. The company is based in Indiana. Okay, so that's interesting. They sell premium meats. So I'd be curious to know how they conducted this survey. And would it be slanted toward a carnivore lifestyle? Doesn't matter. You'll see as we get into it. Doesn't really matter. As I shared in the 2024-25 Vegan and Vegetarian Meat Cravings Report, researchers found that staying committed to a plant-based diet can be more challenging than it seems, Zarnecki said. And I think carnivores, and especially maybe some new carnivores, can relate to this because you're trying to break that processed food habit. It's like being an alcoholic well, I don't want to use tobacco as an example because we're finding out tobacco is not the addicting agent, or nicotine is not the addicting agent. It's all the additives and supplements that they put into it. Meat cheat meals are more common than you might think, he also said. A total of 38% of the vegetarians and vegans surveyed, or more than 1 in 3, admitted to having a cheat meal of meat, with a third saying they had eaten meat within the last 6 months. So look at it from a carnivore's perspective. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, I had a salad today with lunch, so I do eat the occasional vegetable. I still like to have my avocados from time to time. So I am still between 90 and 95% carnivore. So I suppose you could call me a ketovore, but I still like to label myself as a carnivore because a majority of my meals, well, here's my lunch today, Yellowstone meat sticks. 1 in 5 stated they crave meat every few months. That's interesting because crave salad or avocado or anything else. What I do get cravings for is meat, number one, and I still get the occasional craving for a highly processed food. I used to love potato chips and Funyuns and Cheetos. If I walk by a kiosk and it's got that kind of highly processed food, I'm like, ooh, that sure would be good right now. And I'll tell you right now, when I do cheat with those kind of things, which is very, 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 very rare, I feel like shit afterwards. So, chicken at 64% was the most commonly craved meat by the vegetarian and vegan. I find that interesting also because since going carnivore, I don't like chicken all that much. I'll eat it, but it's not at the top of my list. Steak came in second at 40%, while general beef came in third at 36%, the survey found. General beef, I'm assuming they're talking about hamburger. I don't know what that means. Draw your own conclusions. In terms of specific dishes, fried chicken. So what are they frying the chicken in? Are they using a seed oil? Or are they using tallow? Or, some sort of natural fat, saturated fat, I should say. Fried chicken was was the one offering that tempted vegetarians the most, with just under half the respondents saying they would break their diet to indulge in that dish. Burgers, so is that where was that, what was that phrase? General beef. I don't know if they're saying burgers and general beef are the one and the same. Burgers at 41% and barbecue at 40% were second and third. So, yeah, I guess general beef is hamburgers. Third most tempting meat dishes. Again, interesting. I would go after the red meat myself. There's some fried chicken there. Whether it is cravings triggered by nostalgia for a favorite meal or simply the aroma of meat, staying meat-free isn't always easy, Zarnicki said. The cravings are triggered by the poisons they're putting into your fried chicken that make you want more. The smell of cooking meat was the most commonly cited reason that vegetarians and vegans crave meat, the survey said. More than half, or 54% of the respondents listed that is why they were tempted to break their diets. Okay. Coming in second place was nostalgia, with 47% of respondents acknowledging that. Nostalgia, I'm going to disagree. It's the poison again, and it's hitting those dopamines that make you want to crave that red, or what do they call it, yellow 5 or whatever, all the poison they're putting into our food, and the way it made you feel at that time. But once you've been a carnivore, or I'll even hand it over to the vegans and the vegetarians, they're in a state of ketosis, and they're not inflamed and sore and feeling icky, where this comfort food, the nostalgia food, it's hitting those dopamines going, ooh, I sure would like to have that potato chip again. That's my opinion anyways. Peer pressure also played a role, with 33 of respondents saying that being around others who are eating meat makes them crave it. That I think I'll agree with, because so when I go out to lunch or dinner, whatever, with friends and family, you kind of have to bow to their will, because they're not gonna necessarily want to go to Texas Roadhouse or Longhorn Steakhouse or anything like. They're going to want to maybe go to Chili's or Applebee's, where there probably aren't as smart of choices, and so that can make it extremely hard for a carnivore, and that's where I honestly I've really struggled with the diet. But I got to hand it to friends and family. They do try to respect the direction Doug and I have gone with this diet. So, it can't happen 100% of the time. The ages of those surveyed range from 18 to 84. Despite the relatively common practice of temporarily cheating on veganism or vegetarianism, many people who do so do not tell others, Zarnicki said. Um, that's interesting. Doug and I have been completely open and honest with you uh, when we do cheat, but it's because we want to share those experiences and share with you how it's made us feel. And it's always on a negative note, always. But if you cheat with, say, a highly processed food, you're going to feel like crap for the next day or two. Uh, Interestingly, 1 in 3 admit they keep their meat indulgences under wraps, choosing not to reveal to family and friends that they've eaten meat, Zarnicki said. Again, we're open with it. I still like the occasional salad, love my avocados. Uh, the nature of trends such as veganwary means they're unlikely to truly hold, Lauren Maneker of Charleston, South Carolina based registered dietitian told this outlet. These all or nothing approaches, she said, rarely lead to lasting habit changes from what I observe. She added, while these efforts can inspire temporary awareness or positive changes, long-term success tends to come from gradual shifts and sustainable habits rather than extreme short-term challenges. Small achievable steps can often have a greater impact and are easier to stick with over time. Um, Maybe that's all willpower, right? And how much you're willing to put into it and make change. Um, and with keto and or carnivore, you may want to take smaller steps because most people will get the keto flu with keto and carnivore. So, it's all self-experimentation. So you just got to try it for yourself and see how it pans out for you. In any diet, not just vegetarianism, so-called cheat meals need to be handled with a certain mindset, Maneker said. Rather than viewing a cheat meal as a negative, it is more beneficial to take a balanced approach that allows the inclusion of favorite foods in moderation while focusing on an overall pattern of eating nutrient-dense foods that are low in saturated fat and added sugars, she said. I believe, and vegans and vegetarians and carnivores chime in here, we want the saturated fat. We don't want the sugars. So I don't believe that's a true statement entirely. You do want to focus on an overall pattern of eating nutrient-dense foods. Yes. Saturated fats? Yes. Sugars? No. Chime in and let me know if you all agree with that. The more holistic view towards cheat foods can usually help people stick with their dietary goals, she said. For example, A small cookie can be part of a well balanced meal without being considered cheating, she said. Okay, I've heard some big names in the carnivore community say, I'll have the occasional cookie or cupcake or birthday cake. So, yeah, I think a couple times, a few times a year, probably not going to kill you. It just depends how dedicated you want to be, I suppose. Manicure continued. Having a cookie along with a bowl of fresh fruit and a serving of yogurt can create satisfying and well-rounded snacks that provides both enjoyment and nutrition. Okay, yogurt, yeah, maybe. Fresh fruit, depends who you listen to within our communities. Uh, but having a cookie alongside with it, I don't think so. You really never want sugar. Is it going to kill you every once in a while? No. Regardless of the person's diet, animal-based foods can also play a valuable role in a balanced diet when consumed thoughtfully. So she is obviously leaning more towards a plant-based diet. I think all the carnivores here will disagree. That's. I don't think there's any science behind it, so that's her opinion. I'll say that, and it's my opinion that animal-based foods can are your primary role in a balanced diet. Uh, Again, not a lot of solid science behind it, but what it's done for me and the way it's made me feel, I'm going to go with that until more scientific studies can be done. Striving for moderation and balance in meal choices allow for greater flexibility while still promoting long-term health and well-being, Maneker said. And I believe, yeah, it looks like that's the end of the article. So um, I found that amusing because, like I said, I didn't ever really think about a vegan or a vegetarian cheating. And I actually work with a guy, and I asked him. He's a shoot. I don't remember. I can't keep track of what's a vegan and what's a vegetarian, but I believe he's vegan. And I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, I just read this diet," and he knows I'm on the completely opposite end of the spectrum, the diet spectrum, as he is. And so I asked him, "Hey, man, do you cheat with meat on with the diet that your lifestyle?" And he goes, "Yeah." He goes, I do." And I go, "How many times a year do you cheat with meat?" And he said, "I don't know, maybe twice." And which goes back to the article. I think early in the article it said 6 months or something like that. Anyway, so his answer even surprised me because I know every time I've been out to lunch or dinner with him, he's buying some sort of tofu, whatever, literally tofu dish, and it, I, it's not the lifestyle for me. I love the carnivore lifestyle, so let me know below whether you're vegan, vegetarian, carnivore. Do you cheat? If you do, how often? And just share your experiences with Carnivore Hunter because I do find this fascinating. I think there is something to be said for vegan and vegetarianism, but they need to find a better way, I think, to get the protein they need. So, anyways, y'all have a great night, and we'll see you again soon.